Hello, YouTube! My name is Scott, and I just got around to watching Cobra Kai. Season 4, Episode 4 is titled Bicephaly, which is a condition of having two heads, which is clearly meant to signify that not only are Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang working together, but, as predicted, Terry Silver has returned to Cobra Kai. Now, the problem with this is his philosophy, now anyway, when he's not hopped up on cocaine, is all about teaching the students not only strength, but the ability to take their fears and weaponize them to make them more effective in their karate. And that is a devastatingly good idea. He tells Kreese straight out that, well, basically that, because Kreese's idea is he just wants to rehash the past. He just wants to bring Cobra Kai back to its former glory the way he did before. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Honestly, Silver's way is probably going to work much better, and it's a little worrisome. Because if those two ideas can mesh, it kind of seems like it might be more effective than mixing Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang. But let's get a little bit into the meat and potatoes of the episode. So Kenny winds up getting bullied at West Valley, where he's on a field trip to basically see the school he's going to be going to eventually. Those kids, Bert and Nate, and Hawk shows up, and they all ridicule Kenny for wearing a Cobra Kai t-shirt. So, he tells the older kids at Cobra Kai, and they're all obviously ready to throw down because Hawk is a traitor. And Robbie puts in some extra training with Kenny, and he's telling him it's not all about the moves. He also has to learn balance. And Sensei Silver agrees. Then he puts Robbie through a little bit of a beatdown and tells him, this whole thing about facing his fear. I mean, it's a really effective philosophy. It's really worrisome. This is kind of more worrisome than, you see a flashback later where Silver's basically torturing Daniel from his time in Cobra Kai. When Terry was all apparently hopped up on coke and just worried about winning. And honestly, this is probably going to be more effective than that if anybody listens. Because Kyler's still being a dick, and Tori's grudge with Sam just goes full bore. Sam and her mom are at this birthday party for the daughter of an employee of LaRusso Auto, and Tori happens to be there because she has a job where she's basically pretending to be a mermaid. And there's a major misdirect there because when you see her preparing, it honestly looked like she's getting ready to go out and strip. And I was just like, wait a minute. She can't possibly be stripping. She's going to be competing in the All Valley Under 18 tournament. What the hell is going on here? So, yeah, I spoke a little bit too soon. But Sam took every opportunity at this party to needle and torment Tori. And Tori might have gotten her revenge by getting the kids to think Sam was an evil witch and throwing glitter on her. But it's not really the same thing. Plus, there was a point where Miguel showed up and Sam took her opportunity to make out with him in front of Tori, which ticked her off enough to quit her job. But it's kind of okay because, Sam's mom was there and realized that Sam, she's not that good of a person, let's face it. But I mentioned Miguel, so let's look at the other side of the coin. Over at Miyagi-Do / Eagle Fang, Johnny's just getting more and more resentful of the fact that Miguel's spending more time with Daniel, learning how to fix cars, fixing his mom's car, getting more into the Miyagi-Do style. Daniel even kind of taught him how to drive. And for his first time letting him go down, Ventura, I don't really think that was a good idea. Especially since it didn't really seem a lot like his first time because there's this whole issue where, a yellow light showed up and he just drove through it. And I'm not saying it's just because, that's not a good idea in principle. It's that Miguel actually knew how to do it. His whole problem with driving, since he had never driven before, was to hit the brakes a little too quickly a few times when he was first backing the car out of the garage. But Johnny has this whole thing planned. He makes dinner for Miguel. He wants him to come hang out with him. And there's this one point where he flashes back to when he was a kid and he lost it because, his mom had met Sid and was going to marry him. And she got upset with him for having a bunch of his dad's stuff around because his dad apparently left. And, you can tell he doesn't want that with Miguel because he kind of had that with Robbie, who showed up and tried to get him to, get the Miyagi-Do kids to stop harassing Kenny, but it just turned into a thing between the two of them. And Robbie's all like, I'm not afraid of you, I'm better than you, da-da-da-da-da. And Miguel had already eaten, and Johnny is just more and more upset. I don't really need to bring this up, but he couldn't perform in bed with Carmen. Along the way, the discussion led to Top Gun, and honestly, Johnny has the right idea about Maverick, but I don't have time to get into that right now. I was almost talking about where this culminated, but it had to be a thing first. The Cobra Kai kids went to a drive-in where they were showing the Van Damme movie Bloodsport. And, of course, it's Van Damme, showing no mercy, so everybody loves it. But along the way, Kenny got harassed by the Miyagi-Do kids again because Johnny never passed the message along. And it looked like there was going to be a showdown at the drive-in. There's this really great shot where it's Cobra Kai on one side, Miyagi-Do on the other, and in the background is the movie. And Dimitri came in with this perfect line about Dr. Pibb and Mr. Pepper being sold there. It was a great setup and it was really funny. But Miguel was saying, we're not going to settle this here. We'll go to the baseball diamond in half an hour. The apparently one baseball diamond in the area. But it worked because the Cobra Kai kids showed up just as the sprinklers came on. So their big revenge is, haha, we got you wet. And Cobra Kai's all pissed off because they got us wet. Yeah. Now, right at the end, there's this point where Johnny wants to talk to Daniel because of all the time that he's been spending with Miguel, which I think is a little bit unfair. I mean, they can both be father figures to him, right? They're trying to mix their styles. They can mix their parenting styles as well. But it's all interrupted when Kreese and Silver shows up. And Daniel kind of goes into another flashback mode, because you get more clips from Karate Kid 3, where Silver was basically making him train until he was broken. Was it Rick James said, cocaine's a hell of a drug? And Silver says, gentlemen, we need to talk. And that's where it ends. Now, there was a lot of drama between people of all ages in this episode. Not a lot of fighting. But I'm guessing since the next episode is basically mid-season, it's episode 5, that's where we're going to see a big knockdown drag-out fight. And I'm looking forward to it. Let's get a little more action, But anyway, that's what I thought. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Like the video, share it around, subscribe if you're so inclined. Hit that bell icon below for notifications when another one goes up. And until next time, I've been Scott, and this has been Just Got Around to Watching, an offshoot of opinions no one cares about. Everyone has opinions. This one was mine.